All right, how you guys doing today? Back for another math lesson on factoring quadratics. Today isn't really going to be anything new, more a review of the 4 different ways that we have factored quadratics. And I sort of listed them step by step off to the side here. This is the steps you should follow when you're factoring quadratics. A lot of times, as in the examples you'll see today, there's going to be more than one of these methods that come into play. So the first thing we want to do is look for a GCF. Then we want to see if there's a difference of perfect squares. If we have a trinomial with a coefficient of 1, in which case we're going to use the x method. Or if we have a coefficient that's not equal to 1, in which case we're going to use slip and slide. So our first example here is 2x squared minus 12x plus 16. First thing we're going to do is look for a GCF. And you're going to see here we do have a GCF. We have a GCF of 2. So we're going to pull that out, and we're going to be left with x squared minus 6x plus 8. Now, what we don't want to do is just stop here and assume that that's our answer. We want to keep going down this list to see if there's anything else we can do. Sometimes this will be all you can do, but sometimes there'll be more that you can do. So I'm going to look and see, is it a difference of perfect squares? Nope, definitely more than 2 terms. Is it a trinomial with a coefficient of 1? Yes, we have 3 terms, coefficient of 1. So we're going to go off to the side here. I'm going to do this little x method. I'm going to put an 8 up top and a negative 6 down here. And we're going to look for 2 numbers that multiply to 8 and at the same time add up to negative 6. In this case, negative 4 and negative 2. So our answer here, we're going to leave this 2 outside. And we're going to have x minus 4, x minus 2. And that will end up being our final answer here. All right, one more quick example. I'll try and keep these steps off to the side here. 2x to the 4th minus 2. So I'm first going to look for a GCF. I see one. My GCF here is 2. So I factor that out. I'm left with x to the 4th minus 1. Now I look to see, do I have a difference of perfect squares? I do. X to the 4th is a perfect square. 1 is a perfect square. And there's a minus in between, leading me to a difference. So I have a difference of perfect squares here. So I keep this 2 right here. The square root of x to the 4th is x squared. So I'm going to write that. I want 1 to be a plus and 1 to be a minus. And the square root of 1 is 1. So that factors to 2 times x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 1. Now you might be inclined to stop here, but you want to keep looking. I know I don't have another GCF, but if we look close enough, I do still have a difference of perfect squares. Right here, this last term, I can take the square root of x squared, and I can take the square root of 1, and it's a difference. So I'm going to do this one more time. The 2 and the x squared plus 1 remain, but the square root of x squared is x. And the square root of 1 is 1. So I'm going to have x plus 1, x minus 1, like that. So this is the completely factored form of this. So in the assignment that you have today, make sure you take a look and follow these steps. Look for a GCF, your difference of perfect squares, your trinomial coefficient of 1 where you'll do the x method, and your trinomial with a coefficient not equal to 1 where you're going to have to do slip and slide. Okay, so go through those, take a look, and hopefully that goes well. Hopefully I see you guys today for our live session at 3 o'clock. Talk to you later.